you ever been to a high school reunion party, you'll probably experienced this. The ex-schoolmate who come in their big fancy car and boast the most successful career often are the ones who did badly in school. Time and time again, we have heard about famous entrepreneurs like Mark Zuckerberg and Steve Jobs who drop out from college, yet built a successful business and become massively rich. So why is this happening? Why are these people that your teachers used to send to detention for not doing their homework, or they party all night and fail their exams, are the ones who are now hugely successful? In contrast, your classmates who work hard to score A for calculus seems rather average as an adult. What's wrong? What actually makes people rich? Does good grades actually matter? If you grew up in an Asian family like me, you've probably heard your mom say this. "Ah boy, you better study hard, if not when you grow up, you become a garbage man." End up picking rubbish. The point is not to disrespect garbage men, but to tell us to study hard so we can earn better money in future. But as you grow up, you start to wonder if what your parents say are actually true, and if it was really worth your time studying to get an A in calculus last time. So, to answer this question, 10,000 men and women were recruited to participate in a study, and the result? High school grades matter. People who graduated with better grades generally earn more money as an adult. More specifically, 1 point increase in a person's high school GPA, their earnings increased by about 12 to 14%. As it turns out, our moms are right. People who score better grade in high school do earn more money. They are more likely to get into university and graduate from one, which allow them to have a better entry salary at work. So, if you are a student right now and you're watching this, please go and study hard. It's gonna be worth it. Now, having said that, why do we see some of our friends who score top grades but end up in a mediocre career? Ain't they supposed to be doing well? So, over the weekend, I read Casey Lau's book. He described this problem very well. Some people who score good grades can have an inflated feeling of pride in their superiority, an inevitable ego boost. When they have a high ego, it stops them from doing the necessary things that may secure financial success. Oh boy, I thought that was so true. How many times you have met people who are so proud because of their past achievement, but end up falling short because of their high ego? By the way, I would recommend you to check out his book. It's a light read packed with useful tips that are relevant to Malaysians. And I spoke to Casey Lau the other day. He told me that he personally guarantees a refund if you don't find the book beneficial. Alternatively, he also has an ebook which you can download for free. And he issued a public challenge to anyone who download the ebook. If you were to read it for 15 minutes and find it a waste of your time, he would pay you 10 ringgit for wasting your time. And you know what? I'm up for the challenge, so I'm gonna tell you what I think in the comments below. So, back to our topic. Academic success may guarantee you a higher basic pay job, but thereafter, your certificates are practically useless.
Years of academy training wasted!
To advance in your career or business, you will need a good work ethic, communication skill, selling skill, leadership skill, management skill, you name it. At the end of the day, technical skills and grade can only bring you so far. So, what's the recipe of success? Hard. Traits such as perseverance, diligence, self-discipline, and grittiness. EQ is more important than IQ, and that will lead you to find a job in the HQ. Think of Mike Tyson. He did not do very well in school, but once he found a craft that he's passionate about, he put in the work and effort with such diligence and perseverance. He became the best boxer, and he made millions for his boxing career. So, if you want to make a lot of money, you will need to work on your EQ and personality. And by the way, if you want to learn some ideas on how to make some extra money, you can check out these videos here. Now, even if you can earn a high income, does it mean you are guaranteed with a wealthy and happy life? Well, let's look at Mike Tyson again. At the peak of his career, he can make up to 35 million USD just by punching people in a match. And at one point, he had 300 million of cash in his bank account. His net worth was something we all can only dream of. Yet, he had to file for bankruptcy in 2003 with more than 20 million in debt. And guess what? He wasn't the only one. Study has found that majority of pro athletes who earn millions go broke shortly after retirement. What happened? The truth is, building wealth is like driving a car. You need 4 good tires. Even with just 1 flat tire, you can't drive. And the 4 tires for wealth building are income, expenses, liability, and assets. Many pro athletes continue their lavish spending habits even after retirement, and that's why they go broke, and that is their flat tire. So watch your spending and liability. Earning high income alone won't allow you to build a sustainable, wealthy life. If you want to go far with your wealth, make sure that the 4 tires are at their optimal condition. So what can you do to ensure that your 4 tires are in optimal condition? For myself, this is what I do. Whenever I receive my income, I always make it the first thing to set aside money for savings. In the past, I used to only save when there are some money left over after my spending. But often, I end up spending what's left over as well.
What's the matter with you?
Because somehow I tend to tell myself, since I have a little bit more, I can spend more as well. Many of you probably experience the same thing like me. Somehow, we are just humans who are not wired to be very disciplined naturally. So nowadays, I would just set aside money for savings the moment I receive my income. I even set up a standing instruction to transfer a certain amount of money from my income account to another saving account automatically every month. That way, I don't even need to struggle with procrastination to save money. It's made as a priority automatically. Also, don't think that you should only start saving when you're earning enough money. Start as early as possible, as little as possible. Be it just 5% or 10%, as much as you can. The most important thing here is to make savings into a habit. Second, I have different bank accounts to keep my money. I would always save my money in a separate bank account that I have little access to. Personally, I think having separate bank account is one of the best ways to save money. I would give my wife or my mother the ATM cards. Sometimes I won't even activate online banking facility. Because of this difficulty of accessing it, I tend to forget about the money and allow it to accumulate to a significant figure.
Hey, that's pretty good.
I find this step very helpful for myself. Since I'm not someone who's very disciplined in nature, I tend to dip into my savings easily when I want to buy something for myself. Sometimes I would look at the amount and say, since I've done such a good job saving, I should be rewarding myself by spending some, right? And because of this, I would consciously lock my money away now into instruments and places that I can't easily access. That way, my savings are out of sight and out of mind. And even if I really want to access it, the time and effort required to do so will force me to think seriously if the decision is actually worth it. Third, I make it a practice to invest more and invest regularly. Whenever I have a significant sum at hand, I will always invest it. This way, I would accumulate more and more assets that will grow my wealth. Today, investing is so much easier. There are plenty of choices. You can invest in ETFs through robo-advisor, you can invest in unit trusts, or even individual stocks through dollar cost averaging method. Personally, because I have a longer time horizon for my investment plan, I tend to invest more into equity-based instruments, whether it's an individual stock or equity-based fund, as I believe it would provide me with better returns over the long run, even though the risk may be higher than other assets. By the way, if you'd like to learn about stock investing and the markets, do check out our new channel, The Fuck Show, in the link below. In the end, building sustainable wealth is about taking action. Knowing these tips or strategy is not enough. You need to consistently take action and follow through again and again over the years. Only then you will be able to become wealthy.